Dr. Pradeep Bhaskar, who is radiation oncologist at Visakhapatnam. After completing MBBS at Andhra Medical College, he did his post-graduation DNB in radiation oncology. Then did his fellowship in image-guided radiation surgery at HCG Mumbai. He has numerous publications in journal to his name. Today we will discuss about stereotactic radiosurgery. Welcome to FB Live Session.
Good afternoon.
So my first question is to you. What is cancer?
So cancer is, in technical terms, it is growth of uncontrolled growth of abnormal cells. So there are three main features of cancer. They are like a rapid growth, local invasion into the surrounding structures, and distant spread, which is called metastasis. The origin site and the spread where the tumor has spread, those will be totally different places. So that we call as a distant spread or metastasis. So these three features are very important for a tumor to be called as malignant. So all the tumors are not malignant. There are benign and malignant. So malignant, to be called as malignant, these three features are very important.
Okay. So one more question, sir. What is stereotactic radiosurgery?
So stereotactic radiosurgery is a high precision radiotherapy technique which is recently evolving very much in India. So in this, radiosurgery, stereotactic radiosurgery is a high precision radiation therapy technique which is evolving right now. And here in this technique, we focus high dose of radiation, which are called ablative doses. So directly focusing on to the tumor and sparing more of the surrounding normal tissue. So this is usually done in a single setting. When we call it as stereotactic radiosurgery, it is done intracranially, that is inside the brain. And wherever we use it outside the brain, the same technique we call as stereotactic body radiotherapy. And this stereotactic radiosurgery is essentially a single sitting treatment. And wherever we use fractionation, like wherever we do it in 2 to 5 sittings, it is called fractionated stereotactic radiotherapy.
So what are the indications of stereotactic radiosurgery?
So indications of stereotactic radiosurgery, we can say like there are malignancies where we can use stereotactic radiosurgery, and there are benign lesions where we can use stereotactic radiosurgery. Like in malignancies, most of the times they are brain mets. And in benign lesions, it can be meningioma, it can be pituitary adenoma, AV malformations, acoustic schwannoma, and neurofacial, like facial pain syndromes like trigeminal neuralgia, sphenopalatine ganglia, neuralgias, and cluster headaches. So there are lots of indications for malignant as well as benign tumors of the brain. So that's it. Like whenever there is 1 to 5 brain mets, the use of stereotactic radiosurgery is very much as compared to single brain mets, where a surgery is the first choice if it is operable.
Okay, thank you, sir. What are the side effects of stereotactic radiosurgery?
Usually, stereotactic surgery, we focus mainly on tumor, reducing the normal tissue toxicity to the minimum. So the side effects are very less, and mostly it can be a mild headache or mild fatigue kind of thing, not anything serious as far as acute side effects are concerned. And the late side effects would be radiation necrosis, and even in the literature, it is less than 5%. Even if it is radiation necrosis, then it can be controlled with corticosteroids. If not, in rare cases, a surgery is required.
Okay, thank you, sir. How this surgery performs?
So the radiosurgery, stereotactic radiosurgery, is a specialized technique which requires special attention in each and every step we follow as a routine in the radiation therapy treatment. Like right from the beginning, like imaging, immobilization, imaging, after that contouring, plan evaluation, and quality assurance. All the steps, there are special precautions and measures to be taken to do this technique, and it requires a good kind of technical skill with the clinician, with the radiation technologist, with the physicist, and the whole team, in fact. So there are lots of steps in doing this radio surgery, which are essentially normal, which are essentially followed even in the conventional radiation therapy techniques. But more of precautions and special attention needs to be taken.
Okay, sir. How much time it will be taken for this surgeries?
Depends on the tumor and the location, tumor biology, tumor size, and the location of the tumor. So usually it takes around half an hour to 45 minutes. In some cases, it may go up to 1 hour.
So what are the precautions can be taken before surgery?
Okay. Precautions before radio surgery. Actually, radio surgery is not actual surgery where we open up the skull or something like that. It's as I have said, it's a high dose of ablative radiation doses delivered to the tumor, which are penetrable through the bone. And there is no need to open up the skull. It is not a as such surgical procedure where we give anesthesia and we need a pre-anesthetic checkup and all. So it's a simple procedure as far as compared to surgery. But when coming to the procedure, it is a meticulous procedure for us, like for the team to do. As far as patient is concerned, he has nothing to worry. He can just walk in, get the treatment done. There will be some pre-medication given before the treatment, and he can just walk out half an hour or so after the treatment.
Okay. So what are the contraindication for this procedure?
Usually, radio surgery is delivering high dose of radiation. So some critical structures like optic apparatus, like optic nerves, optic chiasm, or brain stem, which are critical structures in the brain, the radiation has to be limited to certain extent to a particular dose for the treatment to be successful without toxicity. So what we say as contraindication for radio surgery is the single setting treatment is when they are very near to the critical structures like the optic apparatus and brainstem. By near, we mean around 2 to 3 mm. There has to be more than 3 mm distance from the tumor to the optic apparatus or brainstem. That is a important contraindication that we have to look for before deciding stereotactic radio surgery.
Sir, who will be involved in this surgery?
The radio surgery is primarily done by the radiation oncologist. He will be contouring the thing, but it requires the whole team effort. It's not the radiation oncologist that does it and finishes it. So it requires the whole team to be part of it, right from immobilization, which I have said. Immobilization is like making the patient keeping the patient in a position where he is comfortable and where we can properly visualize the tumor and treat the tumor efficiently. So for that we use a thermoplastic mask, which we call ORFIT. And in case of radio surgery, it will be a specialized mask where it is a double reinforced mask. So this process involves a radiation oncologist, radiation technologist, physicist, and the nursing team. The whole of team result.
Okay, sir. Can the patient consume anything before the surgery?
Yeah, he can consume. There is, as I have said, it's not a surgery kind of thing. The patient can have food, get a little pre-medication which is required for the procedure, and he can undergo the procedure and leave the premises just after completion, like half an hour or so.
Okay. So what are the difference between the SRS, that means stereotactic radiosurgery, and stereotherapy radiosurgery?
Okay, as I mentioned earlier also, stereotactic radiosurgery is intracranial radiosurgery done in a single setting. So when we do in a single setting, it is called radiosurgery. If we are thinking of fractionating it, like delivering it on a regular basis for 2 to 5 fractions, then it is called stereotactic radiotherapy. Usually, stereotactic radiotherapy we offer when the tumor is large in size, because for radiosurgery we require a tumor less than 3 mm. If it is more than 3 mm and the tumor is very near to the critical structures, like I have said, optic apparatus or brainstem, then we can go for stereotactic fractionated radiotherapy. So the advantage of fractionated radiotherapy is it is also delivering a high dose of radiation, but the fractionated delivery reduces the risk of normal tissue toxicity, because the tumor is huge. Delivering such kind of dose, obviously there will be a scatter radiation going into the normal tissue. So that will cause more of toxicities if we deliver that whole dose in a single sitting. So by fractionating it, will reduce the normal tissue toxicity and get the same effect as that of radiosurgery.
Okay, sir. Thank you. If a senior citizen will come to the hospital, the surgery is helpful for that person.
Yeah, this is a primary advantage of radiosurgery, because most of the cancer patients, they are 60 and above. So when these patients are when they require surgery, most of the times there will be medical comorbidities or the general condition of the patient as such, which is a contraindication for the anesthesia. Most of the times they get rejected for surgery. So those kind of patients are very much suitable for radiosurgery. The only thing is the general condition of patient should be good, like he has to perform his normal regular daily routine. That is the only thing which we see when we perform radiation stereotactic radiosurgery or stereotactic fractionated radiotherapy.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Is CyberKnife is same as a stereotactic radiosurgery?
CyberKnife, like radiosurgery, is a procedure, and there are lots of machines to deliver radiosurgery, like the one we do here, the linear accelerator, and there is CyberKnife, the other device, and there is a Gamma knife, that is also a device where we can do radiosurgery. So CyberKnife is a latest machine where we can perform radiosurgery, but it is not like only the CyberKnife does the radiosurgery. We can do it effectively on linear accelerator as well, and also Gamma knife. So CyberKnife is actually a robotic machine where the linear accelerator head will be fixed onto a robot, and it has a 6-dimensional flexibility. So it is a kind of machine which can deliver radiosurgery, not the only machine which can deliver radiosurgery.
Thank you, sir. So, what is success rate of stereotactic radiosurgery?
So success rate depends on the patient's general condition, on the location of the tumor, on the size of the tumor. There are lots of criteria to define the success rate. It's not a simple one-word answer that this is a success rate. So coming to brain metastasis, in case of single metastasis in brain, if surgery is not possible, the radiosurgery gives same and result as that of surgery. And coming to surgery, after surgery we can perform radiosurgery even post surgery in single brain met. So that gives even more effective result as compared to surgery alone. After surgery, if radiosurgery is done in that patient for the cavity, then the studies have shown that the local control rate is much better than only surgery. And the local control rate will be around 90 to 95% post surgery. If it is done upfront, like the patient is having some medical comorbidity, he is, or the tumor is situated in deeper tissue where surgery is not possible, or due to some medical comorbidity, surgery not possible, and upfront radiation is advised. So in that cases, the local control rate is around 70 to 85%. So it varies from situation to situation and disease to disease.
Sir, thank you, sir.
Overall, it is around 70 to 80, 90%.
So what are the precautions should be taken for the patient before the surgery? Precautions, any?
No, nothing like particular precautions to be taken, but it is like the patient has to be stress-free, relaxed, and rest of the thing is dealt by us. We can take good care of him, whoever it is, like female or male or whatever it is. Like radio surgery is nothing to worry as compared to surgery, where there is a requirement of getting admitted one day prior and pre-anesthetic checkup, anesthesia, surgery, post-surgery recovery, which takes around 2 weeks time for the patient to get back to normal. Radio surgery actually cuts short all this time, and patient can just come in, get treated, walk out of the hospital as he came. So that is a basic advantage of radio surgery. And radio surgery is one thing which is evolving right now, and patient needs to be aware of this option and get to the nearest place where he can get proper radio surgery treatment, who is well trained in it. That is what I advise all of you out there.
Other than this, can you tell some other information regarding stereotactic radio surgery?
So, stereotactic radio surgery is, as I said, is a specialized technique which requires a special attention and special precautions at each and every level. So, in the case of immobilization, as I have said, we usually use ORFIT, which is normally not double reinforced. In case of stereotactic radio surgery, we use double reinforced mask so that the movement within the ORFIT is minimized to less than 1 mm. And coming to imaging part, imaging, we require special imaging techniques like magnetic resonance imaging of brain, especially because we are talking about SRS. So this magnetic resonance imaging has lots of sequences. So when we talk about brain meds, we require T1 contrast, T2 flare, and 3D SPGR. These kind of images, which are special sequences we require for radiation therapy planning. So we fuse this MRI images to our planning CT images so that we chop down the exact location of the tumor based on the MRI image. Because CT image is not that clear for us to mark out the tumor. MRI helps in that thing, and the exact fusion of the imaging is very critical, which is very important also in the planning process. So that is where the physicist comes into play. And after the fusion, we'll verify, if required, we talk to the radiation radio diagnostic people, so that if it is properly matched or not, and if required, to the neurologist, and then we start contouring the target volume, which is a tumor. So contouring the target volume is again a vital part. We should be able to clearly locate the tumor as well as the normal tissues which we want to spare. So this also requires a meticulous job. And after that, planning process. Planning is done by the physicist. So physicist has to be well trained in doing radio surgery planning. So our physicists are well trained in the radio surgery, stereotactic radio surgery planning, and we have a central physics department which looks after the planning. Once it is done here, it is monitored by the central physics, which is in Bangalore. They'll take care of the fine nuances, and once it is done, the radiation oncologist like me will be checking the plan, and we'll see whether the required parameters are achieved or not, and the normal tissue is spared to the level which we can accept. Once it is done, the plan is accepted. Once the plan is accepted, then it comes to quality assurance. So quality assurance is something which is patient specific. So whoever the patient is getting treated, we create a plan to the patient whom we are delivering. Exactly the dose is being delivered or not, we test it on a phantom. So phantom is not the patient, it is a kind of material which is equal to our body's atomic weight. So on that we'll test whether the dose we are planning is getting executed or not. So once the quality assurance is done, Once it is approved, then we'll call the patient and give pre-medication, and then we'll go for the treatment. Even during the treatment, we'll do intrafraction imaging so that the position where we are aiming, the target to which we are aiming the dose is getting properly delivered. So this intrafraction imaging again is a specialized thing which we do only for radio surgeries. During delivery of the treatment, we'll divide the delivery of the treatment into 3 to 4 sessions, where we do for every session we'll do intrafraction imaging, that is CT scan, CBCT, which is mounted on the machine itself, and we'll verify the position. If at all there are any slight changes in the position because of the patient motion or something else, then it will be corrected right away and the treatment will be delivered again. So in that way, we'll minimize the motion errors or the movement errors of the patient and deliver the exact dose to the exact location as planned.
So, my last question is: this surgery is painful or not?
This surgery is not at all painful because we are not obviously cutting anything out of the body. So there is nothing to worry, as she has mentioned. There is no pain. The patient can just get inside the room, get treated, and walk out as normal as he came in.
Thank you, sir. It was very informative session today.
Thank you
very much, sir, with being us.
Thank you. Thank you.